Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The May 7th, 2025 meeting of the City Council will now come to order at 6 p.m. Winnie, may we have roll call, please?
Jessica Ayers. Here. Nick Card.
Here.
Kevin Keating. Oh, sorry. Mike Kurlinger.
Present.
John Quinn.
Here.
Zach Smith.
Here.
Kevin Stein.
Here.
And Garrett West.
Here.
We have 7 present.
All right, thank you. We have a quorum. And just for clarification, it is August 7th, come to find out. It's not May 7th. Great. This could be a really interesting...
It's
the
August 6th, Your Honor.
Oh my gosh. You know what? This is going to be like...
Can we get confirmation of what day it is?
I have a cheat sheet here, just to give a little peek behind the curtain. This could get really interesting today, because this may actually be from the May 7th meeting.
And what shape was your time machine, Mayor? Or? Mayor, it is August 7th somewhere.
Okay. Oh, this is true. All right. Maybe we have city manager reports, Mr. Field.
Nope. Just going to introduce somebody. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce to you a native son who has done remarkably well for himself. His name is Israel Remigio. He is an economic development assistant, essentially an intern, who started in our office in July, working closely with Warren Eng. Israel is a Southern Oregon native. He was born and raised in the Rogue Valley. His prior occupation was working as a maintenance technician for his family's business, Remigio's Cleaning and Maintenance, LLC. He went to St. Mary's, where one of his favorite teachers, actually isn't in attendance tonight, unfortunately, doesn't get to hear about that, but Kevin Keating was one of his instructors at St. Mary's. And he went to college on the East Coast. Councilor West will probably be familiar with this place, American University in Washington, D.C. He graduated from there in May. In order to make us all feel like underachievers, first of all, he got a BA in International Studies with a concentration in Foreign Policy and National Security, as well as German and European Studies. As part of that, he's picked up 5 languages, English, of course, Spanish, German, Mandarin Chinese, and French. So thank you for that. He was a great pickup for us. Down the road, he wants to pursue a career in U.S. foreign policy, European affairs, governance, and education. And his hobbies are, appropriately enough for Rogue Valley, fishing, for starters, reading, hiking, traveling, and playing country music on the guitar. So please join me in welcoming to the team, Israel Remigio. Want to say anything to the council? Thank you.
Kind of covered it all.
Okay, well, we covered it all. So anyway, he's a man of few words, but in many different languages. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, great, thanks. Agenda item 30.1 is employee recognition. Human Resources Director Bonnie Barish is here tonight to recognize the city's employee of the quarter.
Mayor, Council, my name is Bonnie Barish. I'm your HR Director, and I have an easy job tonight. I am introducing our Public Works Director, Dan Worth, and he's going to introduce you to our Employee of the Quarter.
Mayor and Council, hello. Dan Worth, Public Works Director. I do have the pleasure of introducing you to one of our stellar performers, Jeff Dwyer. Before I talk about Jeff, I want to talk a little bit about his position as a construction inspector for the city of Medford. Just a little bit about what that position means. I'm sure maybe you're not familiar with it. What he is responsible for doing, really 2 things: protecting the public dollars and protecting safety for the public using our right-of-way. 2 huge responsibilities, and that's what the construction inspection team that Jeff is a part of is responsible for doing. They oversee construction contracts, private development that's working in the right-of-way, our capital projects in the right-of-way, and our capital projects, they have that 2-fold responsibility: safety and ensuring that we get the top value for the public dollar that we're spending to get the infrastructure built. So that's what that position is all about, and Jeff does an admirable job of performing it. I want to highlight a couple of things that his supervisor, Rob Miller, put into his nomination when he nominated Jeff for this award. One is the employee value of teamwork. Jeff has been with the city for, I think, about 4 years. Is that right, Jeff? A lot of experience prior to that, and he's been willing to share that experience with the younger employees in just a very profuse way. He is a mentor and a team leader, and the guy that the rest of the team looks to for leadership. Another thing that was in his supervisor's nomination, he had this under the category of accountability, but I think it fits with many of our employee values. At some point in the recent past, we decided that the right size of a construction inspection team was 6 inspectors. So that's what we got, 6 positions. We were running too short, 2 vacancies. It happens for most of the summer. And as we recruited to try to fill those positions, we were doing the job with 4. We've got a big project, the Foothills Road project. Federal funding's involved. One of the requirements is to have full-time inspection on those federally funded projects. So we basically siphoned 2 of our inspectors away. That left Jeff and 1 other inspector to cover the entire city, all other projects. And there was a period of about 4 weeks, I think it was, where the 1 other inspector wasn't available. And Jeff had it all. He covered it all. And did a fabulous job of doing that. And I think that speaks highly both for accountability and teamwork and many other values that we hold important to us. And then the last thing I want to say is just a little anecdote from my own perspective. I first met Jeff, I think it was the 2nd week on the job. We had a contractor that decided to take their own approach to a contract that they were doing. I don't want to say anything negative about the contractor. They're all, they're in it to make profit. We love our contractors. They're going to try to do things that they think will work, and sometimes they try to convince us of that after the fact. Well, that happened on a project that Jeff was inspecting, and Jeff said, no, that's not going to work. Here's what the contract says. I got to hold you accountable for it. And he wrote that up in his notes repeatedly, several nights. Finally got the contractor to stop, but there was all the stuff that they'd put in the ground prior to that. And we went back and forth with the contractor. We told him he had to remove it. He said, no, it'll perform. We hired a geotech specialist to go in and look at it. A lot of back and forth. But the end result was that we had to take time on a Sunday morning to go out there and dig a couple of holes so we could examine it and we could do some testing on it and determine whether it was going to work or not. So I went out there to see what was going on. Jeff was right there doing what he did the whole project, standing over the contractor, making sure the contractor was doing the right thing, making sure that he was delivering the product, checking what came out of the hole, taking a look at the numbers that they were getting from the tests, doing everything he needed to do to make sure that that product that we were going to get met the contract specs and was going to perform for 20 years, the way that we anticipate, the way that we expect those projects to be able to perform for us. So, he's dedicated. He is consistent and determined in dealing with contractors. He's not going to let anything slide. And the end result is that he's doing a remarkable job to make sure that he's protecting the city's assets. So with that, I want to congratulate Jeff for his contributions and for this prestigious recognition. I haven't been here very long, but I've been here long enough to know that it's a well-deserved award for him. So thank you. And
All right, congratulations to Jeff Dwyer for Employee of the Quarter. And with that, that will conclude our employee recognition.
Great, thanks. And to Jeff, on behalf of the city, I sincerely thank you for your outstanding efforts and congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. And as a little sidebar, prior to being mayor, I had an opportunity on a project that I had designed to work with Jeff. We had a few little kinks that showed up in the field during construction, and it's really easy to say no, and it's really easy to say, you know, take it out, which in some cases, particularly the one that we just heard from the Public Works Director, I mean, that's the way it works. But in this particular case, it was like we found the way to yes, we found the way to make it work to be the easiest for everybody, and sincerely wanted to add that and a little extra appreciation for that. Also, we now have all the sister cities semi-annual update. Robin Snyder is here tonight to provide us with this.
All right, well, while the slides are loading, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm Robin Snyder, the president of the Medford-Alba Sister City Association, and I'm also here with Stacy Stover, our vice president, somewhere up there. And we want to thank you for giving us time to share about our sister city, Alba, and some of our programs. It's something that we are very passionate about. So we first wanted, oops, I forgot, I have the slides. First wanted to share, we have a new mission statement, and I'll let you read that. And we feel like it's pretty exciting because it talks about a lot of the highlights that we promote, our activities, and ultimately the friendship and the experiences that we want between our two cities. So we're excited to use that and develop it and implement it. And one of our most successful programs is our student exchange. And in April of this year, we just completed our 2024-2025 student exchange. And we had 16 student ambassadors from Medford, South Medford, North Medford, and 2 chaperones just come back in April from their 2-week visit in Alba. And when they were there, they were staying with their Alba students that they hosted in September of 2024. And while they were there, they did a lot of fun activities with their host families. They went to the Ferrero Chocolate Factory. They went to cathedrals, castles. They went to Turin, to Milan. They went to the city council and met the mayor and also signed the guest books, and just a lot of great times with their host families. And during that time, they also spent time at Radio Alba and had a live interview. That was one of the first times they did that, and they interviewed all 16 students and chaperones. And one of the highlights that our senior from North Medford shared was, the best part of my exchange was getting to know my host family. Everyone was very accepting of the Americans and made me feel welcome. I would highly recommend this exchange to any interested student. So I thought that really summarized the experience very well. And throughout the experience, we were so proud of our students and chaperones. We had many reports from Alba, our friends and family there, and the committee in Alba, and how great and wonderful our group was this year. And we are so proud of them. And they really did a great job representing our city, the schools, the state, our association, and America as well. So that was great. Another, I think I have another photo. Yeah, here's just another good group photo. Meeting the mayor, the bottom picture, the mayor is in the middle there. So another education thing that we do is a scholarship. So this year we awarded the 8th annual scholarship for continuing education. We awarded it to a 2025 South Medford senior. And it honors 2 of our great Sister City program members, Johnny Tapino and Pat Shute, both on the Alba side and the Medford side. And they both did so much in their life of promoting the sister city. And next year we will, also it's a one-time $1,000 scholarship for continuing education. It can be for a high school student or for somebody in college. And next year we're going to add Johnny's wife, Pina Tapino, to the award. She passed away. She was very integral on the Alba side of getting the students exchange started. So really happy whenever we can honor some of those legends in our program. We also wanted to thank you for the work that the city is doing and planning to improve Alba Park and the Alba Room. We're really excited to work with you on some of these improvements. And as you can tell from the photo, Alba Park is a great gathering place that we take a lot of our visitors to and our students and other visitors. And it's a great place also where we honor some of our legends again. We have the 2 pathways for the mayors who started the program, and there's a tree there that honors the second visitor from Alba who came. And then the Alba Room, we take a lot of people there to sign the guest book there, so we're exciting. That'll be a good way to honor them as well and promote Alba. So thank you for that, and we look forward to working with you and sharing more ways to honor Alba. Another thing we do is the Taste of Alba. It's a wine and appetizer walk downtown, and it really promotes the city, gets people more aware of Alba, and learn a little more about our various programs. We've taken a break since COVID, and so we haven't done it since 2019. And before that, it was an annual event for about 8 years. So we're looking forward to starting this up again in the spring of 2026 and working with the city and the Downtown Medford Association, the Travel Medford, and the local restaurants. So it's really a great way to promote downtown. So we're excited about that. And we've shared before, in October every year, Alba has the White Truffle Festival. So kind of like our Pear Blossom Festival, but it's a month-long event. And they have a kickoff celebration the first weekend of October, where they have some medieval celebrations, and they have a lot of things to honor the white truffle, which is a unique truffle to that area, found by truffle hunting dogs under oaks and hazelnuts. So pretty exciting time. They usually invite us. It's also a time where they honor the sister cities. Alba has 6 other sister cities. And so it's harder for us to go sometimes, but we are going to have several of our sister city committee members go. And we would love if any of the members from the city would be interested in going. I can send more information on the dates and everything like that. I'd like to let Alba know soon how many people will be going. But it's a great celebration. Alba's a wonderful place, so we love just sharing about it. So thanks again for the time to share. Are there any questions?
Yeah, thank you for that presentation. Any questions? Kevin Stein.
So I was listening to a radio interview, and the Ashland mayor was talking about their sister city, and I am going to butcher the name, Guanajuato. Mm-hmm. And she said during this NPR thing that they have the longest sister city relationship, but I don't think that's true.
That's not true. I mean, ours is 65 years and one of the oldest in the program since it was started in the late 60s.
And so I was wondering if you knew, because there has been, I heard that and I was like, I wonder if that's true. And I was looking to see what more I could find, but it seemed like this Medford Alba, like you said, because some of them came and went, right? Mm-hmm. Some of them built relationships, and then over the years, it's a primarily volunteer based, and then people drop off, and the sister cities don't work. So has this worked the entire time, the whole 65 years? There hasn't been any, there hasn't been a thing where it died and someone had to revive it. It's going to be going the entire time.
Yeah, it's been continual since 1960, and of course, I think it's grown even stronger because we're able to connect a lot faster than just sending mail. What
was that telegram thing they had in 1960 or whatever that phone call was?
The connection's strong, and it's stayed strong. And
awesome.
It's different than many sister cities because it's not based on business or some kind of trade. It's based on friendship. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as always, I appreciate the things you do, and I try to go to the events that I can. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks. We really appreciate all your support. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks.
Sorry. 30.3 is on-track updates. Sommer Walcott and Jill Jeter are here tonight to provide an update. Yes? Did I butcher your name so poorly that you had no idea that I was talking about you? Oh, there we go.
Oh, I'm really loud, so it doesn't really matter. First of all, we want to go to the White Truffle Festival as well, so where do we sign up? But what we're going to talk about today is our teen substance use prevention program and its implementation in an amazing partnership that was voted in by you guys and funded by the City of Medford with On Track, City of Medford, Medford Schools, and Jackson County HHS. So we're here to just give an update on that. And I'm actually going to skip this first slide and go back to it because the first thing and the most important thing I want to talk about are the different partnerships involved in this kind of really cool coming together to support teens and substance use prevention. I guess I didn't fully introduce who I am. My name's Jill Jeter, and what I do for the Medford School District is I do crisis intervention. I'm the crisis intervention specialist. That includes risks to self, harm to others, and substance use prevention, all within our elementary and secondary schools. And so part of what we have implemented this year is a substance use prevention program based on opioid dollars provided by the City of Medford. And so this partnership involved is the City of Medford, which the dollars were provided to be used in upstream prevention, funding Medford schools and embedding on-track staff within those schools. So thank you all for that funding. I really appreciate it. The Medford schools, that's basically 14 different schools, 6 different secondary sites that are all engaging in substance use prevention through on-track support. Jackson County HHS, who provided funding and space for Teen Intervene training. Teen Intervene is the module and the program that we decided to adopt. That is evidence-based best practice for teenagers who are struggling with substance use disorder. And then, of course, the lovely On Track, who have scholarshiped various people to get trained as certified drug and alcohol counselors, as well as providing a professional to be embedded in our schools, which is Christy, and you'll hear from her in just a minute. So that's the partnership and kind of the direction that that partnership is going based on the funding provided by the City of Medford. So the goals and objectives, actually I'll go back to that slide that I skipped. What is Teen Intervene? Teen Intervene is an evidence-based program for youth ages 12 to 19 with mild to moderate alcohol, drug, or vaping use. Youth meet individually with a counselor on site or a prevention specialist, which would be Christy, to discuss coping skills, goal setting, behavior changes, and ways to change, reduce, or eliminate their use with drugs, alcohol, other substances. These evidence-based programs provide 2 to 6 free sessions of education, support, and guidance for teens and their parents, and is generally provided on-site at school. And then for teens needing to be referred out or for additional support, it can be provided on-site at On Track as well. After 2 to 6 sessions, these teens may be referred to On Track for further treatment, or if their needs exceed what can be done reasonably on site at school, teens and families will be referred out immediately from the school. So the goals and objectives of the CADC and the Teen Intervene program is to promote a substance-free lifestyle and education around harm reduction. When we say harm reduction, that's reducing use, especially during school hours. We're there to support students and help them understand that substance-free is the preference and that cutting back is also an option. Identifying behaviors and situations that activate or increase their use, using non-judgmental, non-confrontational, motivational interviewing to guide the student through their own process of decision-making and change. We really make an effort, Christy and I both, to individualize and tailor the behavior change goals and plans to the student and the family, because what one student may have available, the other may not, as far as supports within a family unit or at school. And so those tailored goals are really, I think, what kind of sets up a foundation for success for these students, because it's about them and their needs and what they're able to do, versus a cookie cutter program that says you will do these things or you're not able to come to school. The other goal is to learn to promote learn skills to promote that substance-free lifestyle while taking responsibility for their own self-change and goal setting, and then making connections between their use and the unintended consequences of those use, which I think is really important because that teen brain's not fully in yet. And so helping them understand those unintended consequences for the future of this path that they're on is a very important part of our prevention. So Medford School District, when do we use Teen Intervene and when did we partner with On Track and how is this implemented within the school? The flow of Teen Intervene in Medford School District is, it's called our alternative to suspension protocol or policy. And so teens now, when they are suspended, they spend time in in-school suspension. And that has changed this year based on funding and our availability to purchase resources through the grant that was provided to it, the prevention dollars that was provided by the City of Medford. And so when a student's suspended, they now spend time in in-school suspension. During in-school suspension, they have a chance to access resources and fill out a screener. That screener will then trigger us to contact Christy to set up some meetings for substance use prevention and to implement the Teen Intervene program. Previously in Medford School District, the majority of students caught with a vape, drugs, or alcohol are sent home, and what we were realizing is that they're being sent home to be alone and vape some more, and use some more drugs, and contact their friends, and take a break from school, rather than stay in school where they're connected to helping adults, trusting adults, and mental health and substance use prevention programs. So those scoring a 2 or more on the screener are sent to our coordinator, that's me, and as the coordinator, I contact Christy and I build a caseload for her to start seeing students in school during in-school hours on a regular basis for 2 to 6 sessions spread over 6 weeks. We've just started this in late spring and it's had a lot of success so far, and we have some numbers for you all. The numbers come after a few more slides, though. The heart of the program is that secondary schools are using trauma-informed practices to change how we approach disciplinary responses to youth substance use, resulting in increased time and learning with identified school supports, reduction or elimination of substance use, and improving student success, mental health, and graduation outcomes. The premise is that students are more successful when they stay in school, when they have access to resources. Isolation generally increases shame and increases use, and sending students home doesn't fix the problem or really set anyone up for success. So how many students have participated in services since late March through June 5th? There have been 62 alcohol, drug, or vape-related suspensions since February 10th. 59 of those students screened into the program, so scored a 2 or more in their substance use habits. 3 families declined services. 56 students have engaged with Christy, our school-based CADC. 38 students engaged in 2 to 6 weekly sessions, so they completed the program in some form that was tailored to them. 14 students were given brief intervention where they spent time in school suspension. They gained a lot of resources. They were able to make goals and plans, and then had 1 or 2 meetings with Christy to discuss goals and resources within the community for their use. 6 students were referred to ongoing services with On Track, meaning that they might have completed our program and desired more support, or maybe their use was so severe within the school setting that they needed more intensive services than we could provide in a 45-minute to 1-hour setting at school. 8 students are currently enrolled in On Track's 90-day substance use prevention program, and 2 students are enrolled in the MIP program. So in just really 2.5 months of school that was left, we spent kind of the majority of the school year training up our counselors, training Christy, collaborating with On Track and Jackson County HHS for a policy around alternative to suspension. And once we had all of those things in place, we were able to bring Christy in March, and since then she's served a number of students and made a bunch of connections with students that we probably wouldn't have had if we didn't have this partnership and this funding. So now you get to talk to Christy, MSD and On Track's amazing CADC. She's here to share highlights, challenges, and the success story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Here you go.
Yeah, that was great, Jill. Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for this opportunity for me to share my experience in this partnership and, navigating through the school system and, really getting to the forefront of these student, early substance use challenges that we're facing. So, but just a little bit about me. I am a certified alcohol and drug counselor. I'm a registered QMHA, and I'm working towards my KDOC 2. I've been with On Track for a little over 4 years. I've had the privilege of working with them in settings including women's residential, intensive outpatient, and men's residential treatment services. I've done a little bit of I've done some assessments within the criminal justice system, out at the work center, and here at the jail as well. So this, I also run the teen groups at On Track, which would be MIP mandated programs for kids, getting MIPs in school or out of school, and then just the standard teen alcohol and drug treatment program. So transitioning into the school, doing intervention work has been a new experience. It's been something that's been super meaningful for me because coming in there as, I guess I wasn't expecting what I saw. And what I seen was an urgent need. The need was so overwhelming that it was just like, it was exciting though too. I think within 2 weeks of setting foot in the schools, I had over 50 students, and at that point they were all engaging. the choice is given to them. You know, we're trying to build rapport with the students and really kind of get the whole picture on things. And like Jill said, we only had three families decline. So we got to work with, 50 plus individuals in a very short amount of time and get to see them over the next 2 months. So some of the highlights have been that, with Jill's help and all the, staff members, administrators, they've all been, we've been able to build good collaborative relationships and they've shown genuine investment in this program, which has really helped in the overall picture. We've been able to provide a safe, non-judgmental space for teens to explore their relationship with substances. Some of these kids are really scared to talk about it, and we're really met with a lot of ambivalence right at the beginning, but we're able to, within, our, what would you call it? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I am nervous, I just have to say. Can I just say this? I didn't expect this.
I wasn't ready for people behind us.
And
I was not ready for that.
so, thank you. We're really there to let those kids know that they are able to reveal, what they're really going through, because if they're not able to and they think that I'm going to run out and talk to their teacher and talk to, the staff, that's not a space for them that provides any room to grow. If you can't say what you're struggling with, you can't work towards, goals and fixing a problem. And so we were able to provide that for them, and I think that really helped in how fast this program took off with these kids. We were able to help, they were able to gain insight into their behaviors, identify motivations for change, and we were able to help them make informed decisions. And a lot of this was like getting kids back into sports, getting kids back into things they like to do. I gotta say, one of the biggest things that I heard from kids was, well, I used to love playing basketball, but I can't do it anymore because I can't run because I'm vaping my lungs, And so once you hear that, you grab onto that, and you work through their pros and the cons. Like, what's all going on this side? So I'm getting suspended. My mom's grounded me. I lost my cell phone. I'm not allowed to talk to my friends. And, and then why? And so why do you use it? Because I like it. So we're able to kind of look at this list and then kind of work towards the things that they used to like to do. And that's been one of the neatest things that I've got to see doing this. It almost makes me tear up, kind of.
I know, I'm really moved by this. But also, I just want to take a minute to say how important you've been to students as far as having a safe space that's not school-based, and that the funding that you all provided was able to bring Christy in and let these students talk about it in a non-stigmatized way and make plans for their future and make plans to get back on track. No pun intended. Right? And, also,
and that's a perfect spot. Are there questions? Yeah.
So what was the main reason for the families that declined services?
I know that one felt intimidated by, she knew her daughter was using, but I think it was more of they were still not ready to admit that there was a problem, that anything needed to be addressed in that area. So I think that was one of them. And
chime in on one.
Yeah, go ahead.
One family that we declined with me was that they were worried. They didn't truly believe in the confidentiality, that Christy wouldn't be speaking with teachers and administration, and that it would ruin the family's name. And so HIPAA is a part of this, and why I'm a school-based person, and she's a substance use prevention person. She doesn't get to go back and forth and tell people, teachers or administration, what's going on within the student's life because it's confidential. And so I tried to explain that to the mom, and yet we still had a decline.
Yeah.
Other questions? Yeah, Zach.
I do want to say great job on all this, but I was just curious, is this like an open door policy, or is this only for like kids that get caught? or is it kind of advertised like, hey, you guys can come to us even if?
So, yeah, I mean, originally it started as we were only going to do tier 3 kids or kids scoring a 2 or higher. But, I mean, how can you say no to kids? So, yes, we had kids coming to my office at each location. Hey, can I start seeing you? This is what's going on. Hey, can I start seeing you? And so,
We had 7 self-referrals, 7
Yeah.
students self-refer, and some of that was based on Christy doing small groups at Oakdale, and some students were like, what's this small group about? And we talked about it being a vaping prevention group, and so they wanted to join on their own.
Yeah.
And that was really amazing. I was not expecting that at all, a self-referred student.
Kevin?
What was the breakdown of high school to middle school?
I feel like
I don't recall if I saw that.
I don't think you did see it, but I thought you sent that to me. We definitely saw about 12 to 15 more high schoolers this year than we did middle schoolers, but I was surprised by that. I thought it would be far greater high school and much less, but the amount of middle schoolers that get suspended for vaping or bringing a vape to school, unfortunately, is on the rise.
Yeah, and the kids that are actually have come from our school intervention into a higher level of care are outpatient, intensive outpatient. They are all middle school students.
Other questions? We'll see none. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
guys so
having
much.
us. I appreciate it.
Just turn this off.
We are now to oral requests and communications, where the City Council sets aside 30 minutes for in-person public comments. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per person or organization. As outlined in the agenda, the public may also submit written comments to the council. We did not receive any written comments for tonight's meeting. But before hearing public comments, I'd like to note the decorum policy for the council chambers. The use of noisemakers or disruptive audience behavior such as applause, cheering, or shouting is not permitted. Decorum violations are time-consuming and disrespectful to the speaker and all attendees. Failure to follow the basic standards of decorum may result in removal from the meeting. Finally, I would like to emphasize that this is your opportunity to provide comments to the council and is not intended to be a time for question and answers. If you have completed a public comment form, please come to the front of the room when your name is called. The time is 6:38 p.m. and comments may be heard for another 30 minutes. Winnie, has anyone completed a public comment form?
Yes, Your Honor. We received 3 comment cards. I'm not sure about Clarence Carr. He submitted a public hearing comment card, but it doesn't look like that's what he's here for. Okay, you can be first.
Yep, and just introduce yourself at the microphone for everybody.
My name's Clarence Carr. I just came here for, 2 very important reasons. Jackson County sheriffs are issuing traffic tickets in your city limits. They are banned from, they do not have an IGA with you guys to be issuing traffic tickets. Majority of the time they hang up there out by South Medford High School issuing tickets to kids. So it's not just me. I have over 15 years of it in this folder. I'll leave with you guys. They're sending the tickets over to Central Point Court. That's illegal too. Wherever ticket, if I'm issued a ticket in the city of Medford, the ticket has to come to the city of Medford. It can't be sent to Central Point. That's considered unlawful enrichment. And then the second thing, Medford police are arresting people on a city ordinance. I was arrested on a city ordinance. I was taken to jail for 3 days, put on probation, and everything else. Eric Minton, city attorney, everybody else has already admitted that it's city ordinance. You can't be locked up for it. They refuse to correct the record still. I have it all right there. It's all left for you guys. And then I have also asked for your guys' IGA with the sheriffs multiple times. I have not got that yet because they don't have one. They have one with Central Point and they have other ones with other counties. They do not have one with Medford, only to house inmates, sir. So what I'm saying is you can't be arresting people on the municipal code. They're non-arrestable. I'm not the first person. You guys also arrested a First Amendment guy out front, and it's all over his Facebook for filming a place on the municipal code. You cannot arrest on the municipal code. Plenty of homeless people are being arrested on municipal codes. You cannot do that. And it's not just towards the homeless people or people. You're actually hurting the citizens here that pay taxes, because now they're paying taxes twice. Once for your jail, for the Jackson County Sheriffs, and everything else. So it's not just me that's being hurt in this. There's your evidence.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.
Thank you. Others?
And we have Scott Bush and Brian Williams. Sure, you can go with the way.
Hi, my name's Scott. I wrote this down because, I'm not a public speaker and I don't want you laughing too much. I'd like to propose a city ordinance or law to prohibit homeless services within 1,000 feet of a residential neighborhood. The reason being is I live on Quinn Street. We have been dealing with the mayhem that's caused by the homeless people that hang out there. They need help. I get that. But if you want to enable these people to continue doing what they're doing, do it somewhere like in a area that is not a residential area. 1032 West Main is a nuisance property. I'm not going to name the name of the place, but you probably know what it is. I'm pleading to the City Council to address this issue of an unsafe environment for our residents of any neighborhood. This is a problem the residents of Quinn Street and surrounding neighbors have been dealing with for years, and we're requesting immediate action. There's some other little issues that I feel are important, but you know what? I'd like to just stick with the one that's important right now. We need a solution for this situation. I've called my house sits with all my windows are aiming right there. I see more than I want. And I'm getting sick of it. And that works for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Who was next? Yep, come on down and introduce yourself.
Thank you for having time to speak with me. My name is Bryn Williams. I too am here to speak on the same topic as Mr. Bush has. Your Ward 2? Your Ward 2? Forgive me, but I'm going to pose a hypothetical. How would you like your front yard set on fire? Right now, during fire season. Would you feel any better if that blaze was 20 feet from your property line? What if that firebug was already on probation? And how'd you like it if the responding officers hardly even rolled down their windows as they drove by after being called to investigate? What if strangers were taking photos of your children as they played in your front yard? What if you went out for a walk and while passing by someone blocking your sidewalk, they threatened to beat you down? What if on a regular basis, oblivious, surly, entitled motorists and piles of litter blocked the street in front of your home? What if you had one specific neighbor responsible for all of these uncivilized and outright hazardous behaviors, bringing them onto your doorstep and requiring constant vigilance from you and all of your other neighbors? Does that meet the definition of a nuisance property? That's an honest, serious question. The rest were hypotheticals. I need the definition of a nuisance property. What kind of police response would you, esteemed councilors and mayor, be satisfied with in these situations? Because we've come to expect to have our concerns ignored. Would you be satisfied with no response at all? Would you be satisfied with a response that only served to validate the offenses rather than redress them? These grievances are real. And if hearing them made anyone uncomfortable, I urge you to consider our daily struggle.
Thank you. Anyone else that didn't fill out a comment card? Okay. We'll move on to approval or corrections of the July 16th, 2025 meeting minutes, if that is the correct date. We have all received the draft minutes from the July 16th of a regular meeting. Does anyone have any revisions or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, the minutes will stand as submitted. There is no consent calendar tonight. We will go straight into ordinances and resolutions. Mr. Mitten.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 80.1 is Council Bill 2025-68, an ordinance approving and authorizing amendment of the 20-year regional sewer agreement between the City of Medford and Rogue Valley Sewer Services.
We did have information on it. Does anyone need a staff report? Yes.
Just to make a couple comments in case people are curious what this is about. This is an extension of all of the stuff we've been doing with the wastewater treatment facility. We have an agreement with RVSS, which is what sets the regional rate committee. The issue before us is that within that agreement, we are not able to set aside funds as we need to for the kind of capital projects that we're doing for the wastewater treatment facility. And so this is a fix to this agreement to basically enable us to do that with the rate dollars so that this kind of stuff we can solve it for the wastewater treatment facility that we're trying to build, as well as future capital projects that may come up for the wastewater treatment facility or the other kind of shared facilities that we have as part of that agreement.
Thank you. And again, this is a fairly straightforward item. However, with that additional background, is there anyone that needs a staff report or has a question for staff? Yes, Mr.
I don't need a staff report, and I really don't have a conflict, but since I'm on the governing board of both parties, I think I will probably just abstain.
Okay.
I don't have
think
to.
you but
I don't have to, but I think it's not a good look, and I'm going to do it.
okay. Motion? Mr. Card?
I move to approve, what are we doing here?
80.1.
2025-68.
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? When will you call the roll, please?
Nick Card,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Abstain.
Mike Curlinger,
Yes.
Zach Smith.
Yes.
We have 6 yes and 1 abstention.
All right, that motion passes. 80.2.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 80.2 is Council Bill 2025-69, an ordinance amending Section 2.439 and repealing Section 2.441 of the Medford Municipal Code to consolidate the Housing Advisory Commission and the Community Services and Development Commission and create the Housing and Community Development Commission.
All right. Staff report? Staff report, please.
Good evening, councilors. This is Michelle King, your planning director. Just pull up my PowerPoint. Okay. So good evening. So the background for this change was council directed staff to consolidate these 2 commissions on June 4th this year. The 2 commissions that were being consolidated are the Community Services and Development Commission and the Housing Advisory Commission. Staff held a joint study session with these 2 commissions on July 23rd, got their input, and presented the upcoming change to them. Some of the rationale behind combining these commissions is that they have overlapping mandates and responsibilities, and that putting them together would streamline and enhance efficiency, align priorities, eliminate redundant processes, have more cohesive policies, and be a more effective tool for community needs. So the proposed changes are to amend Medford's municipal code, section 2.49, which is the Medford Housing Advisory Commission section, to rename it the Housing and Community Development Commission, or HCDC, and to update the code to reflect the new HCDC structure and responsibilities, and then repeal the section that was related to the previous Community Services and Development Commission. The new commission would be comprised of 11 members, and similar to commissions in the past that had this function, they would be made up of members that have specific roles related to housing and community services. This is the composition that staff came up with the Housing Advisory Commission and the Community Services Development Commission input. So it's an 11-member body. The responsibilities would now be combined, and they would oversee being advisory body to council on all things housing and community services. They would oversee the grant process for CDBG and home funds, the general fund grant, construction excise tax or the HOF fund, address policies and funding for homelessness, affordable housing, and land use and zoning regulations. So the combined commissions together currently have 15 active members. There were 5 vacancies in those 2 commissions. This is combined amount is 15 members. The plan is to just reduce them to 11 members through attrition. I think they lose 5 in January 2026, and then a few more in January 2027. So within 1 to 2 years, we should be down to the 11-member body. So our recommendation is to accept the changes to Municipal Code Section 2.439 and repeal Section 2.441. And I will note that we are entering into grant season, so this was timely. This way the new commission can start their grant review process in the early fall and have recommendations to council in January. Are there any questions?
Kevin?
Can you go back to the big list of individual appointees? As we've seen in some other boards and commissions, sometimes very specific things are hard to fill. Is there any issue with filling some of these? I think affordable housing developer was actually one of the ones that might actually be open right now, if I recall correctly. I mean, it's one of those things that'd be really nice to have, but might be difficult to fill.
We'd reduce that position to 1. There were 2.
Okay.
So now it's down to 1.
So do we have one currently?
I think I have the list here. Yeah.
So as long as Habitat is willing to continually provide us at least one person, I think we'll be good on that.
Okay. I can tell you who we got rid of if you'd like to know.
Wow, that seems very like.
Sorry.
I just want to announce it to everybody. Yeah.
I mean it in a nice way.
What about tenant organization? Is that something that's easily filled? I don't know what tenant organizations we have here.
That might be one that's tougher to fill. I would give you that. That might have been a recommendation from the other commissions that are being combined, their members.
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest hang up is I don't want things to just stay vacant, or we have to do this thing where we find someone that's kind of, sort of in that field where we would be better off just making it at large, where we could definitely find people to fill these spots.
The current tenant rep is Deborah Lee, Center for Nonprofit Legal Services, represents tenants. And Brandon Tomes is the affordable housing developer currently on.
So as long as the Center for Nonprofit Legal Services continually provides us somebody, and Habitat does, I think those will get filled then. Okay, the other ones it doesn't appear like the other ones would be an issue. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Nick?
I was just going to ask, where did this list come from? Was this a recommendation from the joint committees assembled this
It's
list?
a compilation of the previous positions and then some input from the combined commissions, but
So did they look at this and they gave it a thumbs up as far as that goes?
they commented on it.
Okay.
I don't know that they gave it a thumbs up.
Oh, okay.
Other questions?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Is this developed in such a way, I didn't read the specific code language, but is it developed in such a way that quorum is, because quorum has to change as the numbers change, right? So right now it's 15 people, so the quorum would be 8. So is it at the end of this year, it goes down a certain number, and then the next year it goes down a certain number till we get to 11.
So Carla Palladino's done a masterful job in changing all our quorum language so that it's the majority of the filled positions. I will double check right now,
Okay.
but that's what both of these base commissions had, so that would be my expectation.
I do remember discussing that with something, so that would do it. Thanks.
Is there like, are these membership categories defined?
They are defined. And just to answer your question, it is a quorum of the majority in the thing, and they are defined. They are listed specifically in the code language as you see it.
And so back to tenant organization, we're seeing that if you're either an employee or a board member of something that provides services to tenants, then you're eligible. In
Yeah,
other
I mean,
words,
that's what
is
we
it-
have right now. I mean, we could reword that so it says something like tenant advocate or something that's not, yeah, no.
Okay. Other questions? Motion. Mr. Card.
Move to approve Council Bill 2025-69.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
Sure.
Yep.
I think this is a great move. Thanks for doing it.
All right. Seeing no complaints on the membership, Winnie, will you call the roll?
Nick Card.
Yes, hallelujah.
Jessica Ayers.
Yes.
Kevin Stein.
Yes.
Garrett West.
Yes.
Zach Smith.
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger.
Yes.
And John Quinn.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
All right.
you.
Motion passes. Thank you. Public hearings, but before we start the public hearing, I'd like to remind everyone that the rules of decorum previously outlined are still applicable. This evening, we have one land use legislative hearing. If you'd like to speak during this hearing, please complete a blue public comment form to be called forward. Comments for administrative or legislative hearings are limited to 4 minutes per individual group or organization. 90.1, Mr. Mitten.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 90.1 is Council Bill 2025-70, an ordinance vacating portions of East 3rd Street extending between North Bartlett Street and East Jackson Street, and Apple Street extending between East 3rd Street and East 4th Street. Subject rights-of-way are within the Community Commercial Zoning District. Abutting parcels are 371 W30BB 100, 2000, 2300, 2400, 2500, 2600, 2700, 2800, 2900, 3000, 3100, and 3700. This is land use legislative.
Thank you very much. May we have staff report, please?
Yes, and good evening. Thank you, Your Honor, and good evening, Commissioners. Counselors, you can see what I do all the time up here. I'm Kelly Aiken with your Planning Department. I have a relatively brief report for you this evening. This is for the vacation of 2 rights-of-way in our city, and as always, we'll start with some approval criteria and your authority in this matter. Approval criteria for vacations are found in Land Development Code Section 10.228. Draw your attention to subsection C. City Council did initiate this vacation, so that 3rd criterion does apply in this matter. And it points us to Oregon Revised Statute 271.130. We have reviewed the approval criteria and analyzed them pretty thoroughly in your staff report. And we found that they've been either satisfied or not applicable in this particular matter. Under the code, you are the approving authority. This is a type 4, it's actually quasi-judicial, not legislative. I get those mixed up all the time. Planning Commission did hold a public hearing in July and did forward a favorable recommendation to you. Project summary. So we are in kind of the northern heart of Medford. The request before you this evening is to vacate that reach of 3rd Street between Bartlett and Jackson Streets, and then the reach of Apple Street between 3rd and 4th Streets. This may look very familiar to you if you put on your hats as the Mira Board. This is a Mira partner project for the Element Hotel. It's a 134-room hotel. It's been in the works since 2019, I discovered after doing a little bit of research today. I am aware COVID really slowed this project down, and the Mira Board was finally able to approve a disposition and development agreement with Western Hospitality just in April of this year. So I know our Mr. Weiss has been working with the neighboring properties to resolve access issues and concerns. I'm confident that that work was completed because we haven't received any comments on this particular application. So as a new development, this was required to obtain approval from our Site Plan and Architectural Commission. They did do so. Our SPAC body approved this just back in April. This street vacation is a condition of approval of that decision. So you can see this is the approved or an approved site plan. 3rd Street on the top of the page, the parking field will go pretty much to the center line. And then Apple Street, of course, will be fully encumbered by the parking field. So as a reminder to you, when rights-of-way are vacated, the right-of-way reverts back to the ownership of the abutting properties. So 3rd Street to the south will come to this project, to the north will go to Living Waters Church. Apple, to the part where it says Apple Street, that's Soul Savers, so that the eastern half of Apple there will revert to that property. Just a quick peek at the elevation, if you don't recall what it looks like. This is the southerly elevation of the hotel that will face 4th Street, and this is the main entry point to the hotel. So back to the subject. So yesterday we sent out a revised ordinance. Apologies for the delay. There was a couple things that changed. First, we opted to reserve a 12-foot wide pedestrian easement that's added to the northerly 12 feet of the vacated area on 3rd Street. So on the top of the screen is the PED easement, and on the bottom of the screen is the whole 3rd Avenue, or 3rd Street rather, vacation. So that was added to the ordinance. The other thing that happened was the description for 3rd was revised just a little tiny bit, and this is what it looks like a little more closely. So what we did is, instead of vacating a straight line all the way across, we're reserving 3 feet for the possible expansion, the right-of-way width of Jackson. So when the city comes to do an improvement project there, we don't have to reacquire land that we're vacating. And then also, there was some revised language in the ordinance. It only affected section 3, and I've highlighted the phrase that was added, just reserving the pedestrian easement that was shown just a second ago. That's the only change to the ordinance. And then Apple Street in all of this is the simple dimple one. One other note that I wanted to make is the ordinance does refer to reserving public utility easements over all of the vacated areas. So my understanding is, as this project is developed out, they'll have to move utilities that are in the reserved rights of way, or the vacated rights of way rather. So when those utilities have been relocated, they'll grant easements to the appropriate agencies, and then we can vacate the public utility easement. That is a planning director decision, so that it doesn't have to come back to you. So it'll be nice and tidy in the end. Returning then to the approval criteria. For that first criterion regarding compliance with the comp plan, the goals and policies are actually silent on right-of-way vacations, so that first criterion is satisfied. The second criterion, as I mentioned, is not applicable in this case. And for the criteria in the statute, the first bullet notice notice was given on June 18th for the Planning Commission meeting and July 16th for this hearing this evening. Both meetings were also noticed in the newspaper. No action can be taken before the hearing date. The council hearing was set for this evening via resolution 2025-60. For the third bullet, no objections have been received in this matter. And finally, no vacation is allowed without the consent of the abutting owners. The owner consents are in the record and included in Exhibit G that's beginning on page 69 of your agenda packet. No significant fiscal impacts have been identified at this time. And so that last criterion has been satisfied. So with that, both the Planning Commission and the staff recommend approval. And that is my presentation. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Any questions?
I don't think we received a copy of the updated ordinance. I see the email, but it looks to be the old one.
Oh, apologies.
Yeah.
That was the only change,
Just that.
was I added that single phrase acknowledging adoption or inclusion of the pedestrian easement. Apologies.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor.
Other questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. At this point, I will open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this subject, please come forward as called or as you're coming. Please identify yourself for the record before speaking.
Okay. So before we get in there, I want to make sure Scott Sinner's fully briefed on rules that he hasn't heard 1,000 times before. I made a mistake. I thought this was legislative. It's quasi-judicial, so I've got a couple paragraphs of boilerplate I'm supposed to read before the public hearing. So
That makes more sense, actually.
apologies for the delay. Let me pull up my quasi-judicial rules.
So does everyone have to declare that they sat through Miro meetings discussing this?
I don't think public meetings count as ex parte contacts because the public is available to see them too, so we can avoid all that.
Okay.
So,
I mean, but those meetings would have to be in the record for this file in order for it to not count as ex parte contact, not just in the public, right?
We could, if you want to cover it, we can just,
I think that even though they deal with the same hotel, those don't deal with the vacation. I think the only public hearing that dealt with the vacation itself would be the SPAC hearing. It was a condition of approval. So I don't think, being in a Mira meeting where the hotel project was discussed, we need to go through everyone reporting those ex parte contacts. I mean, if y'all want to, you can, but my recommendation is not. Okay, so I'll read this quickly. I apologize for the delay. I'm going to explain the rules that govern this hearing. Before the hearing begins, city staff will give a report. The report will list the criteria that governs the city's decision. After the staff report, the hearing will be open for other speakers. The applicant will speak first and may ask for rebuttal time. Following the applicant, any other interested person will be allowed to speak. Before the hearing is closed, anyone who needs more time to present evidence must ask for more time. If you ask, the hearing will be continued or the record will be kept open. You'll have at least 7 days to present additional written evidence. Any testimony, argument, or evidence you give must relate to the criteria listed in the staff report or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or land use regulations that you believe apply to the decision. If you fail to raise an issue or do not give the council sufficient information so that the council and any party can respond, you'll not be able to appeal the issue to the Land Use Board of Appeals. If you do not raise constitutional or other issues about any proposed condition with specificity so that the council can respond to that issue, you'll not be able to bring court action for damages. I apologize for the delay. Mr. Sinner.
and would you be fine if we just say, just for the heck of it, as a declaration that everyone has heard or discussed this issue with somebody at some point in time?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 6-year project that we've discussed through countless Mira meetings, et cetera. I don't know how we'd ever track every single ex parte contact about this.
Okay. And none of us are biased, Mr. Center.
And I think it's fair to say no one's had extended ex parte contacts about the specific thing we're voting on tonight.
Okay. Sounds good. Yes, of course. I don't know why you're taking so long to get up there, yeah.
Your Honor and members of the council, I was not nervous until this faux pas here, but my name is Scott Sinner Consulting, Inc., 4401 San Juan Drive, Suite G. I'm representing the application today. We had a very thorough staff report in a written form, and we had what I think is a clear and concise staff report in the oral report. There's been a lot of moving parts on this one. There's been a lot of negotiations with all the stakeholders who have signed consents, and we've dealt with the city as far as making sure that we, have easements in place or will be in place. And we think that this is a very nice project to get some very important urban renewal going. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have if they're simple.
Any simple questions for Mr. Center? Seeing none, thank you.
I'd like to reserve time for rebuttal.
Of course.
And request your approval.
Of course.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak on this matter may come down. All right. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Any discussion before moving to motion? Any questions of staff or a motion? Mr. Card.
Can you put the amended ordinance on the screen?
No, you have no financial interest.
You just wanted to see 7Q.
Well, because since it isn't in our packet, I think I do need to say that it is as revised on the screen.
Thank you.
I move to approve Council Bill 2025-70 as revised.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion? All right. Seeing none, Wendy, will you call the roll?
Nick Card,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
Zach Smith,
Yes.
and John Quinn.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
Yeah, motion carries, and it is now vacated. Okay, council business. I'm going to take this a little out of order and hand this over to Council President Nick Card.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take this a little bit out of order because we're going to do some appointments first. We have an administrative task. John Weil, as the former Director of Public Works, was our official alternate on the Rogue Valley Area Commission on Transportation and the Rogue Valley Metropolitan Policy Organization. Since John is no longer the Director of Public Work, Dan Worth should be appointed. Oh my gosh, that's going to screw me up multiple times in the future, I think. So I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dan Worth to replace John Weil on the Rogue Valley Area Commission on Transportation and the Rogue Valley Metropolitan Planning Organization effective immediately.
Second.
All right, hearing a motion. Who gave me that second? Kevin, was that you? Okay, thank you. John Weil, well, he can say no. Let's do it. All right, any other discussion on the issue? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Congratulations, Dan. All right. We had a lengthy council officers meeting, 10 items. First item, there was a new executive order that came out from the federal government concerning housing and homelessness. Attorney Mitten is confident that we comply with the executive order, but it is something that we are looking at as new executive orders come out from the president. Second item, policy regarding letters of advocacy from the city. You guys saw the letter that was sent on behalf of Asante. There were some concerns about our policy and procedure for those kind of advocacy letters. Attorney Mitten is going to draft an SOP on advocacy, on policies, so we can have a more formal process instead of the sort of tribal knowledge way that it has been. So Mr. Mitten's going to be working on that for us. Three, I brought an issue questioning if we could limit stopping or resting under overpasses, blocking the path under overpasses. Mr. Mitten is going to work with livability on this issue to see if there's something that's in our existing code that we can use or if there's something new that we need to be looking at. The fourth item, we discussed briefly the August 20th agenda and any way that we can reduce the items on that agenda. So staff is going to work to tighten that agenda. Because of number 5, it's time for us to do our city manager's review. That is going to happen as part of an executive session after our meeting on August 20th. You guys are going to receive, we're all going to receive packets from Bonnie that include our feedback as council and mayor. It'll be anonymized, but it'll be our individual comments as well as an aggregated collection of staff comments for Rob's review as well as council's comments. If anyone would like to see specific director comments, those will be available. You can get with Bonnie and she'll have those and you can schedule a time to review those. Number 6, we talked about a study session On City Manager's Office communication, the request of Councilor Stein. Now that we all have more experience on council, I mean, remember when we came in January, we had 4 new councilors, a new mayor, and a new city manager. And so we've been doing this for 8 months now. And so we have a little bit more knowledge. And so we're going to do, as part of our study session next week, we're going to take some time to discuss communication and what's working well, what's not working well, and other ways that council wants to see communication out of the city manager's office. Item 7, MPD drones and trespass agreement. Mr. Mitten brought us an update, just an FYI, that we are going to be using drones to monitor for fire and other things along private property along the Greenway. This is an opt-in process. And so if we hear any concerns from citizens about what's going on or they see drones flying around, this is all consistent with state law, and it's only for reviewing and monitoring these properties. It's much more efficient than sending in our men and women to wander the property instead. Item 8, Main Street outreach. KJ brought us an update. They're going to be doing an open house and an internet survey somewhere around the October to November time frame. Is going to be sort of our initial public outreach piece on Main Street. Item 9, we discussed having city talks in October. This is sort of the more casual version of town halls that we had done last year. I believe some of the new councilors came to those when we did them last year. So we're looking at an early October time frame for those. And then last is next study session is the CCIF. When we're going to be discussing those, we had a conversation about what process we want to go through to try to make that more efficient. The suggested process is as follows, that basically we take all of the CCIF requests, we're going to go through kind of like a consent agenda. If anybody has any concerns or wants to pull, to discuss more, or basically any of the items that we don't have consensus on, we're going to pull those off, and then that'll let us know here's what we have consensus on supporting and how much money's left over. And based on that fact, we can have a discussion about the items that are left over and deal with those. If we don't have enough money to cover the ones that we all like, well, then we'll deal with that. And so just to avoid us spending a bunch of time talking about things that have everybody's support, because that is not a good use of our time. That concludes our council officers' agenda. Does anyone have any discussion or comments about that before we move on to the next item? Cool, thank y'all. All right, boards and commissions. Anybody have any boards and commissions reports to provide? Mr.
I
West.
attended the Medford Water Commission meeting today. We had a very long study session on forest management in the watershed, and the Water Commission passed resolutions to revise and increase the water STCs. So that's what I got.
Awesome. Any other boards and commission reports? Did everybody enjoy your summer break? Don't get too used to that because it's not going to happen again. We got business to do. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you, Council President Card. It's kind of interesting that it wasn't as we all are, we're all busy getting out in the community and seeing people. So this is not exactly a commission or anything, but I attended this is even worse, the Comic-Con that we had. I think it has a different name than that, and was thoroughly impressed at the event they put on. So enjoyed that quite a bit. What's that?
Did you dress up?
Yes.
As what?
Tarzan.
Loincloth.
Full commitment. No, of course not. There is a proclamation to be issued, and that is for National Health Center Week. And I guess just so everyone knows, the full proclamation will be posted on the website. But I just wanted to certainly highlight the big work that community health centers play in our community, and how important that we all rely on them for that. So, whereas for nearly 60 years, community health centers have provided high quality, affordable, comprehensive primary and preventative health care in medically underserved communities, delivering value to and having a significant impact on America's health care system. And whereas since 1989, La Clinica has provided accessible, affordable health care to the community through 8 neighborhood health centers, 19 school-based clinics, a student wellness center at Southern Oregon University, an outreach clinic for people without housing, a learning center, and a mobile unit. Whereas during National Health Health Center Week, we celebrate the legacy of America's community health centers and their vital role in shaping the past, present, and future of America's healthcare system. Now, therefore, I, Michael Zarazinski, Mayor of the City of Medford, do hereby proclaim August 3rd through 9th, 2025 as National Health Center Week. Staff reports, Mr. Field.
Mr. Rosenthal.
Mayor, Council, Rich Rosenthal, your Parks, Recreation, and Facilities Director. I am keenly aware that I am separating you from adjournment and the rest of your lives. I've been asked to provide an update on the Council Community Initiative funds from the past, and we'll go into hurry up offense. These are the 4 projects I'll give you a report on, starting with the Rogex art sculpture, which was a $75,000 allocation, and this is the outcome and unveiling of that project. Contrary to what you may read on social media, this was not a $1 million project. This was a $95,000, what I think is an iconic art installation that has really defined the building. Second project was the $50,000 that you allocated for Rogex swim scholarships. And of that amount, $5,000 has been requested and issued, and that has benefited 136 kids so far as part of the swim lesson program at the Rogex. You allocated $50,000 to support the child care and after-school programs at the Santo Community Center. And that $50,000 went for security upgrades. This is one of 3 controlled access storefront doors that improve the security as really the first phase of what is a multi-phase building modification for the Santo Community Center to support the preschool child care programs. These doors are pretty expensive. The $50,000 didn't go very far, but it has made a difference in terms of security, which is really important to us. And finally, you allocated $20,000 to the Medford Senior Center, and this is what the Senior Center looks like on the outside. And what it did, it's sort of hard to take a picture of what $20,000 did. It helped repair a water line, and also they've helped upgrade the restroom that supports their classroom there. That is rentable space. It's a programmable space, so you can see the classroom a little bit inside of there, and you can sort of see in the restroom, which I think you know what restrooms look like, but that is what they used it for. And since we're on the topic, real quick about the senior center, they are in a much better place thanks to the council support. You know, we almost lost them during the pandemic, and they're all volunteer board. They've worked hard. They've made outreach to us. We've tried to help them, our department and the city, and they're on much firmer ground. And so these little grants that I think Councilor Ayers, you submitted this one in particular, it really helps them. It helps save the funding that they do generate through their bingo and other sources. It stretches what they can do for their membership, about 150, 200 members there. So that is the report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rich. Questions? Yes.
So was the $50,000 for the Rogex scholarships during the last CCIF cycle, I presume?
Yes, it was about a year ago.
We've only given out $5,000 of that
That's
so far?
right. It's not that we haven't promoted it, made it available. It's just, it hasn't been, I guess it's a good thing in a way. That I think that our swim lesson program and prices are affordable. Comparatively, so it's a nice problem to have that there hasn't been an outpouring of requests.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It's not a bad thing. Also, 136 scholarships is a pretty darn effective return. So,
right.
Other questions? Thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
Anything else, Mr. Field? All right, coming to, I know, at least one counselor's favorite time. Anything else for the good of the order? You know what? I'm still laughing over the fact that I just blatantly read, like, not only the wrong day, but the wrong month, and luckily got the right year. So, in an homage to Ron Burgundy, Stay classy, Medford, Oregon. We're adjourned.